This is Defenders TV Podcast, episode 62, where we're talking about Captain America Civil War in our spoiler-free review. Welcome back, Defenders. Yes, you've heard it right. We are going to be talking about Captain America Civil War, but it will be spoiler-free on this episode. We will be doing our spoiler-filled podcast very soon. I'm one of your hosts, Derek.
I'm your other host, Chris.
Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, cool.
Unfortunately, John isn't here, and here poses the problem. I went to see the preview of Captain America Civil War this week, and unfortunately, neither of my fellow podcasters were able to join me.
So we get to grill him.
Exactly. But I will be talking completely spoiler-free because, number one, I don't want to spoil my co-host because I want them to see the movie and make sure they enjoy it as much as I did. Yes, there's my first little bit. Yes, I did enjoy it. And secondly, I don't want to spoil any of the listeners. So feel free to listen to this episode, get excited for the movie, and hopefully I'll answer some very spoiler-free questions about the movie, some of the things you might have before you go into it. First off, I want to say a huge thank you to Disney Movies Ireland for inviting us along to the premiere. Really good of them to have us along. We really enjoyed it the night. Number one for me, seeing a movie as a preview filled full of comic book fans and Marvel fans and Captain America and Iron Man fans who were battling it out for which one they loved more. Really enjoyable. Definitely one of my favorite experiences.
The one thing I will just add is we will, in terms of spoilers, if you are on a full trailer blackout, then we will be probably discussing maybe certain elements of the trailers. So I'm going to go up to, not the TV spots, but I'll go up to the international trailers.
Okay, good point. And that is my first thing to say to anybody who is about to just switch off right now. Don't watch any more trailers before you see the movie. There are some out there that you shouldn't be watching if you want to enjoy and get the full experience of the movie. So don't watch any more.
No, and I'm even coming into this on this one as well. So my feeds on Twitter and Facebook and, my God, even just Flipboard, which is a news app that I use, is since they started launching the TV spots, my God, they're like literally, oh, Spider-Man does this and oh, this. I'm like, no, it's like I'm just scrolling normally, like normal baby, picture, baby picture, boyfriend, girlfriend, yada, politics, which is just usual feed mess. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, I hate you. Like,
unfriend immediately, Chris. Unfriend immediately.
This is actually an annoyance to me. So even comicbook.com, which is typically a very reputable site, and I really enjoy their content. They posted a very spoilerific article, and not even so. I didn't even the headline spoilery, and the worst part is as soon as I saw the image is spoilery. The image attached to the article that was posted through the feed is spoilery. And I'm like, there was no spoiler warning. It basically what's happening now, and I think this is the downside, I think, which I was hoping Marvel, because they're typically good at this. So for Cap, we've had 3 trailers, so a teaser and 2 trailers. For Civil War. Now they're doing all the TV spots, which I was hoping they wouldn't do to the level that they are, but they're doing character promo type TV spots.
Yeah.
And that's where we start getting all these horrible spoiler parts because they're trying to fill in with another 15 seconds of new footage. Just so that obviously they're trying to keep the press, the marketing role going. And this is the problem I had with Bat v Soups, Dawn of Justice.
Right. Like,
in my opinion, and I didn't love the film. I liked the film a lot. I wouldn't go sorry to say this is like it was amazing, but it was really good. It had lots of faults, but it was still good.
Yes.
They spoiled a lot of the amazing moments in the trailers and these TV spots that started coming, and then their cross-advertising. So, this is where I think Deadpool did it really well. Deadpool put out TV spots and trailers, but they didn't... They filmed new footage for it.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So it was funny new footage just to keep that promotional marketing spin life going. And they did that well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is the thing. So if you are listening to this and we're recording the week prior to the European release, the week of the European release, I should say.
Yep. 27th of April, 2 days before release over here.
Go off Facebook. Go off feeds. Things will be as soon as this hits. No, as soon as this hits.
Let me address this because I think it's important. Having seen the film, don't worry too much about it. There's so much goodness in this film. It's a long film. Don't feel any of the length of it. Some of the little bits that are out there, some of the bits that I've seen now that I've started watching the trailers again after the movie, to get myself re-excited to go and see it again. There are little spoilers, but there are some other fantastic things in this film to get you excited. So don't worry too much. None of the big plot points have been spoiled in any trailer or TV spot that I've seen. I think most people will understand the general gist of the film before they go and see it. So none of that needs to be kept under wraps. I think people understand it is Civil War. So
this is when Captain America and Iron Man go back in time to the Civil War of the United States and fight, one on the Confederates and one on the Union.
Exactly. That's why the X-Men are in it. Yeah.
Okay, just checking it. Yeah. So that, at least I know the plot.
There you go. But overall, I think there's some great stuff in here. I think, Chris, you asked me a couple of questions about it last night after I came out of the cinema.
Before we go into the questions, I literally want your 60-second view. Now, just your thoughts, your guttural feeling as you walked out of that movie theater.
I wanted to walk right back in. And it's something I generally do after going to see a premiere on the night of release film. So if I go and see it on a Friday night, I generally actually will go back a second time over the weekend if I've enjoyed the film. The one crappy thing about going to see a premiere is, oh, okay, I can't go back to see that for another couple of days. And then I have to book it in advance because everybody else wants to see it, obviously. So yeah, that's my absolute feeling is, wow, okay, they did a great job here. I want to go see that again. Want to see Cap again. Want to see Iron Man again. Want to see the next film. It's setting up a lot. It's includes a lot, and really excited to see it again. I must admit, that's my overall takeaway. They did a good job.
Good. No, and that's that. So yeah, if you didn't come out feeling hurt, then that's a good sign. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to go into some of my questions, and then we do have some of our listeners' questions once you said that you'd watched it. So I'm going to kind of mesh these in. And we're going to try and keep it, as we said, this is non-spoilery. So we're going to stay away from anything that potentially could spoil parts of it. And I think that's probably the best way of saying it.
Exactly.
So the question that probably everyone wants to know, and let's be honest about this.
Mm-hmm.
Spidey, Tom Holland, come on, just as much as you can. We know so it's been known, and I believe it was one of the Russo brothers said that there was about a 30-minute. He was in there for around 30 minutes. That was confirmed by the original press screenings about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I know we have 30 minutes.
Yeah, because I was seeing a lot of stuff going around saying he's in it for 2 scenes. He's not in there for long at all. He's in there just the right amount. This is not an Avengers film. This is not Spidey's film. Definitely. I've been hearing a lot of people say things like he owns the film. If he wasn't there, then it wouldn't be great. This is everyone's film, but it is a Captain America film above and beyond everything else. But quickly, to answer your question, Spidey, Tom Holland is a great Peter Parker. Because we do get to see Peter Parker. Oh. He's a good Spider-Man too. He's a great Spider-Man. And he has a good amount to do in the film. There's some really good, fun stuff in there that I think Spider-Man fans particularly have been looking forward to. And they're going to enjoy this one.
Excellent. Definitely. Excellent. One question I had, and this arose from the X-Men Apocalypse. So I was seeing, basically, we also got a trailer drop of X-Men Apocalypse this week.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the feedback I've been hearing about that from the interwebs is CGI.
Uh-huh.
overly CGI. The Russo brothers with Winter Soldier, I felt got a nice balance. Especially, and I think it aside from one or two bits where they couldn't build a helicarrier and crash it into outside of Washington DC, which is a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
What do we like here? How's the is there some of the over the top CGI moments, or is it balanced? Is it with their directing style?
I definitely think, again, to stress it, this is a Captain America film. This is very grounded. In fact, probably a lot of Tony in this film, and a lot of Steve Rogers, obviously, a lot of the other characters that are non-powered as such, I suppose, or non-CGI powered, are in it a lot. So this is very grounded. It's not a huge talky film or anything like that. Don't want to undersell the fight scenes, but when the fight scenes come, there is CGI. There's a mix of live action fights. There's actually 2 fights in there that really reminded me of Daredevil fights, to the point where I was wondering whether the stunt coordinator for Daredevil was involved in the film. He was involved in Civil War as well, but there's really kind of visceral battles at times, and there's also the fantastical Marvel fights that we've come to know and love, with some proper CGI, some stuff it's almost ready for gifting on the screen when you're watching it. The kind of slow-mo stop, cut for 3 or 4 seconds, so you can really appreciate a proper punch that you can just gif out of your Blu-ray when you get it and post it on Twitter. It's ready for that as well. CGI is definitely used. There's a number of characters in there that probably wouldn't be able to be on screen without it. So definitely used, but not overused, and done pretty well for me.
Excellent. Cool. So this was also one of my questions, but we also got this from one of our listeners as well, Woo Kim, over on Defenders TV podcast in our group. So if you're not following or join the group, come on in. You can get questions on air. Yes. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yes. Come over to facebook.com/groups/Defenders TV podcast.
There you go. So, in your point of view, does this solidify your confidence with the Russo brothers now directing the Infinity Wars?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, I think. Because I don't know what Infinity War is going to be like. I think Infinity War is going to be much more out there as a film. I think there's going to be, I understand there's going to be bringing in some of the more space characters. Possibly Guardians of the Galaxy could be coming in, possibly Doctor Strange coming in. What I love about the Russos particularly is how they've handled Captain America and his storyline and the characters that have surrounded him. They do it again here. They've done a great job. What I do trust, and what I have confidence in, is Marvel. Once again, they haven't let us down here. So they've chosen Anthony and Joe Russo to do Infinity War. They've done a really good job on Civil War. I think they can pull it off. They do the character stuff really well, which is the thing that grounds the movies. And if they can keep doing that and keep bringing in good special effects artists to do the special effects that people love so much, then all power to them. I'd be really excited to see what their take is on the Infinity War.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask this, but okay. I do not want any details.
Okay.
The post-credit scene. So, did they go down the route of Dawn of Justice? Which none. Did they do 1, 2, 4, 8? Without giving me details.
Yes.
Am I going to enjoy it?
Okay. What I saw was there was one post-credit scene.
Okay.
It's integral. You must stay for it.
Okay.
What I feel is that there will be a second post-credit scene when this is released on Friday. So the reason I say that is because the screening that we were at showed 2 trailers before it. One was for Rogue One, obviously a Disney film. The second was for Doctor Strange, which I got to see on the big screen and looked even cooler on the big screen, I must admit. And John will be very excited to see it when he gets to see it. And then it went straight into a cold open into the film. So no, what do you call them? Raising cards, no other trailers, no adverts, nothing like that. And then to the end of the movie. So I feel this is the press print, and in the past, Marvel have been known to do the press print from everything all the way back to Avengers, as far as I remember.
Yep.
They did the press print, and then when it was released in the cinema a couple of weeks later. So I feel they're probably going to do a teaser or some form of post-credit scene that I haven't seen, but I'll be looking forward to see before we have our review of Captain America Civil War. But I will also say fair dues to the cinema where we watched the movie, because what they kept doing was turning off and on the lights after the final credits to just get people excited to see another post-credit scene that wasn't going to play. So they were having a little bit of fun with the Marvel audience. There weren't that many people that left before the final credit roll. So.
My God, who would leave?
I know.
It's a known thing now.
Absolutely. Especially in that crowd. We were wondering who they were. They were the weirdos that
time. Time-wise, we've been told again by one of our listeners that they added an extra 20 minutes in before they actually even finished the print. So how are we feeling?
That's just called editing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what, no offense, but yeah, I would. So we actually had this conversation very quickly off air because we saw the feedback. Yeah, so they added 20 minutes in before I went into press screening. That's editing for me. That's post-production. Yeah. If they were to add more, which, like in the, say, once it goes to Blu-ray and they do, similar to Star Wars, they add extra time in, or so now we're also with the Bat v Soups, we're going to get the R-rated version and an extra 30 minutes, I believe. That's extra time. So we'll call this editing more, right? So they edited from post edited, if we want to call it that, extra cuts in. Right. What's the runtime like? How does it feel? Is it a bit drawn out? Because what I felt with Winter Soldier, it was bang on the mark. There was none of they gave you lulls, but they gave you lulls at the right time, and then you gave action, and then a lull, but those lulls were integral character building parts. Are they the same here?
The story parts.
Yes, the story parts.
Between the punchy. Yeah. There's a lot of punchy in this film. The fight scenes themselves are epics. Better, I will say it, definitely better than the fight scenes in Age of Ultron. Some of the other scenes the fight scenes are even better than the ones that we saw in Civil War. Great for the fight scenes. Then we have all the characters that they're trying to manage, right? Big tip for you. All the characters that they say, oh, why didn't they include this character in the movie? Why didn't they include that character in the movie? I've heard a great comment from the Russo brothers where they said, we didn't include anybody that we wanted to do for stunt reasons, just to promote the film even more. We didn't stick in the Hulk or whatever the quote was. Every single character is used very well. They've all got something to do. They've all got a little bit of a backstory or something that they were taking away from the last Avengers film or their own personal films they were in. They've all got something of that. And this movie either pushes them towards their next film or includes them really centrally in the movie itself. So all those people that are worried about some of their favorite characters not appearing, don't worry, they'll be back in another film. They just may not have belonged in this. All the characters that are in this film are handled really well, and I think that probably speaks to the runtime. Everybody's given a really good chunky scene. Some characters that I was kind of surprised getting some really meaty moments in the film, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about them as well, Chris. I'd like to see your opinion on some of the characters who get some chunkier scenes and some kind of some interesting dialogue that probably would have been cut out if they didn't have the runtime left available to them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff in there. And
did they explain why the Hulk and Thor are not, and some of these other characters who we kind of expect to be in it? Do they explain why they're not there, or is it kind of just left in the ether?
As with every Marvel film, there is a mention.
Okay.
So I'm definitely not going to spoil anything about that, but there's definitely a mention in there and a very realistic take on this Civil War here. Remember, the Civil War books were across 122 issues of a comic book, taking in every single character across all the comic books, major and minor. And this is a Captain America film with a very sizable guest appearance from Tony Stark. But it is still Cap America's film. So it's taken the Civil War storyline from the point of view of Captain America and Tony Stark. So I think all the other characters that join in around them get something to do, and something pretty sizable, each of them. But you couldn't really push in any more. I wouldn't want to see an extra hour just to shoehorn in, I don't know, Squirrel Girl.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I know it would, but I still wouldn't want to see an extra hour just to shoehorn her in.
No, come on, you would.
Okay.
Yeah, just actually that character. I'd be like, okay, I'll take it, yeah. I will sit here for another 20 minutes of Squirrel Girl discussing board game tactics. Yeah, yeah, I could do that.
There you go. There you go. But overall, that's my general thoughts on the movie. Anything else from you, Chris? Any other questions?
Yeah, so no, I want to because I want to keep this relatively short because we know our spoiler filled review when myself and John have seen it and we sit down, you see it for your second time. That's gonna be a long one. So and I know there's been hints that again through press of stuff that I'm very interested in, but I want to hold off those because they may be spoilery. Okay. So I think I want to close it with this. You are a very big Shield fan.
Yes, I am.
So taking that out of perspective, right, and placing this into MCU. So we'll take it, say your top MCU, and then your top superhero overall films. Give me where are we ranking here? Is this a you must see on opening night? This is you must see. My God, if you haven't seen this within 24 hours, what are you doing? Where give me some figures here.
Okay, so I think we talked about it on one of our recent podcasts. So we rated the kind of 12 MCU movies. I think it was around our Ant-Man kind of time.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way: Captain America is my favorite set trilogy at the moment.
Okay.
I absolutely adored the first Avenger because it was so like Nick Fury's movie is what it felt like, except Captain America was taking the part of Nick Fury. Then I love Winter Soldier because, oh wow, what an amazing film. Absolutely brilliant film. An excellent, different take for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is up there. This is like, we might have just reversed the order of Captain America films. Might have moved. I still probably, for the moment, because I've seen it so many times, I still say Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU film.
Yeah.
This is coming in pretty close to number 2 right now.
Okay, that's a glowing endorsement.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm sitting right now. Let me see it again, and I'll probably give an opinion as to whether I fully defend this film or not. But right now, get out there, go see it this weekend. I saw it in 2D. I want to see 3D IMAX. There's some glorious scenes to watch in this film, and really looking forward to seeing it again. So, so for the moment, I would say definitely top 5, and just in there behind Winter Soldier right now for me. This is the continuation of that story, and that's a great story. So
excellent. Okay, well that's a glowing endorsement from one of our defenders who we hate slightly for getting to see it before us. Obviously, if John was here as well, I think we would be doing... Right now, it's a Civil War, because I hate him for having that. This is my Sokovia Accords.
I wish we were doing this in video. Chris is wearing red, I'm wearing blue.
Yep.
It looks like Captain America Civil War.
I'm Team Iron Man all the way, peeps. I'm sorry. Give me Tony Stark over your puny Steve Rogers any day. But I know, unfortunately, because Cap's the good boy, the golden boy, the pretty boy, he's always going to get more fans on Team Cap, but give me Iron Man.
I think everybody's going to have an interesting opinion after this movie comes out.
Yes!
About that question, that what side are you on? And that's all I was hoping for from this film, was to give me a perspective on Iron Man that I hadn't had before in the films that I've watched. And it really did. Yeah, it's got some really good stuff. Excellent. Good things to talk about.
There you have it, listeners, coming to you before the release. Our spoiler-less a preview of Derek's preview of Captain America Civil War. We're going to be back very soon with obviously our regular scheduled programming. But anything, Derek, you want to close off just to tell our listeners before we end this preview?
Absolutely, yeah. One huge thing. Make sure you subscribe to us over at defenderstvpodcast.com/iTunes. That way you'll get the full spoiler-filled discussion about Captain America Civil War when we release it, hopefully next week. We'll also get all of our episodes about Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Agent Carter, all of our movies that we've done before, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Deadpool, and Fanforstic. So yeah, you'll get to see all the sides of the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you just subscribe to us over there. If you're not an iTunes person and not an Apple person, you can subscribe on any of the good podcast catcher. Just search for Defenders TV Podcast on any podcast catcher like Beyond Pod, Podcast Addict, and hopefully Google Play Music soon.
Very soon.
Excellent. And if you want to send in your feedback once you've seen the film, just make sure you email us at feedback@defenderstvpodcast.com or join the group over on Facebook. Just come join us at facebook.com/groups/Defenders TV Podcast.
And don't forget, you can also find us on Twitter at DefendersCast.
That's it for this episode. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled Daredevil episode, which is episode 8 of season 2, on our next episode, hopefully to release tomorrow. So looking forward to that one. Thanks very much for joining us, Team Cap.
Team Iron Man. Peace out.